Black Friday, the day when millions of Americans wake up before sunrise, grab a cup of coffee stronger than jet fuel, and line up outside big box stores convinced they're about to score the deal of the century. You walk into Walmart, Costco, or Sam's Club, and it hits you. A wall of glowing televisions stacked like skyscrapers, each box plastered with giant rollback signs. 4K Ultra HD Smart HDR Cinema Experience, only $199. Sounds like a steal, right? Like you just beat the system. But here's the ugly truth that stores don't want you to know. Most Black Friday TVs are engineered traps. They aren't the same premium models you see advertised all year. They're watered-down versions, stripped of features, built cheaper, and designed specifically to hit those rock-bottom prices. Think of it like buying a luxury car, except the dealership quietly ripped out the engine, downgraded the leather to vinyl, and slapped on a shiny badge. It looks premium from the outside, but under the hood, junk. Today, we're exposing the biggest offenders, the brands and models that turn your bargain into regret faster than you can say doorbuster. And trust me, some of these names will shock you. Black Friday trap number 1, the special model scam. Here's the first dirty little secret. Those weird model numbers on the box. TU690T UQ7570. V Series 4 Series. They're not random. They're special SKUs built specifically for Black Friday. On paper, they look just like the premium models you've been eyeing. Same brand, similar packaging, same shiny buzzwords, but under the hood, corners cut everywhere, local dimming stripped out. Gaming features like VRR or ALLM removed. Peak brightness / so low that HDR content looks flat and lifeless. Build quality swapped for hollow plastics that creak when you move the set. One viewer told me, "I thought I scored a Samsung for $400. Looked great in the store, but at home HDR was non-existent. Football looked washed out and apps lagged constantly. Later, I found out it wasn't the same model Best Buy carried. It was a special Black Friday version. That's the trap. The logo tricks you, but the performance exposes the truth." Black Friday trap number 2 on the paperweight TV. Walk into Walmart on Black Friday, and the first thing you'll see is a mountain of TVs stacked like it's the world's cheapest fort. 55 in for under $200. It screams deal, but really it's a financial booby trap. Ian is Walmart's house brand, and these TVs are the definition of flimsy. The panels look bright under store lights, but at home, colors are dull, blacks look gray, and motion blur turns sports into watercolor paintings. HDMI ports quit after a few months, remote controls randomly stop working, and entire sets go dark just after the return policy ends. One shopper admitted, "Picked up and owned because it was cheap." By month 3, the sound buzzed constantly. By month 6, the screen went black. Warranty was useless. Straight to the curb. Buying in is like buying fast food sushi. Sure, it's cheap, but a few hours later, you regret everything. Black Friday trap number 3. RCA, nostalgia with a death sentence. For decades, RCA was a titan of American electronics. Radios, televisions, home appliances. The name carried weight. But the RCA you see stacked at Sam's Club or Walmart today, it's not the same company. It's a licensed logo slapped onto bargain bin panels built as cheaply as possible. The panels are dull, dim, and lifeless. Skin tones look gray. Viewing angles collapse the moment you move off center. And HDR non-existent. The software is even worse. Laggy menus, apps that crash midstream, and popular services that often won't even load. Owners usually end up buying a Roku stick just to make their smart TV usable, which completely defeats the purpose. One buyer told me, "Grabbed an RCA because the name felt safe." Big mistake. Colors looked gray from day 1, and within a year it wouldn't even power on. Tried warranty support, got bounced between Walmart and RCA until I gave up RCA. Today is a zombie brand. The logo survived, but the quality is buried 6 feet under. Black Friday trap number 4. Hisense champagne features beer build. Hisense has exploded in the US market, and on Black Friday, you'll see their boxes everywhere promising OLED brilliance, Dolby Vision, and premium features at half the price of Samsung. At first glance, It feels like the underdog hero, but once you set it up, reality hits. Panels are wildly inconsistent. Some look decent. Others suffer from light bleed so bad that dark scenes look like cloudy gray fog. Input lag is painfully high, so if you're gaming, forget it. Motion blur smears across the screen during action movies, and the cheap build becomes obvious fast. Flimsy. Stands, brittle bezels, and mainboard failures showing up just after the warranty expires. One viewer wrote, "Got a Hisense on Black Friday. Picture was fine for a few months, then the backlight failed. Repair cost nearly as much as the TV. Learned the hard way that cheap up front isn't cheap long term. Hisense is like buying a designer suit on clearance only to find out it's stitched together with glue. Looks premium in the store but falls apart at home." Black Friday trap number 5. TCL 4 Series budget darling turned dude. TCL used to be the golden child of budget TVS. Their 6 Series made people believe you could actually get premium quality for half the price. But the 4 Series you'll see piled high on Black Friday, that's not the same TCL people rave about. These sets are stripped down to the bone. No local dimming, weak contrast, and blacks that look more like gray soup. HDR is technically supported, but the brightness is so low you'd never notice the difference. Sports jitter, action movies stutter, and gaming feels like trying to play Call of Duty on a potato. And don't expect durability. The stands wobble, the bezels feel fragile, and a single drop during setup could leave you with a crack before you even turn it on. A buyer shared, "I bought a TCL 4 Series on Black Friday thinking it was a steal. Within months, the backlight flickered nonstop. It's basically a nightlight now." TCL's 4 Series isn't a deal. It's like buying yesterday's leftovers dressed up with a fresh sticker. Black Friday trap number 6, Vizio Verer, the reliability gamble. Vizio used to own the budget TV market. For years, they gave shoppers more screen for less money, and people swore by them. But the V Series flooding Sam's Club and Walmart on Black Friday, that reputation doesn't hold up. Out of the box, picture consistency is a mess. Bright objects bleed into dark scenes, making starry skies look like blurry. Smudges' colors are oversaturated. Skin tones look unnatural. Greens glow like neon and reds bleed into orange. Contrast is flat, robbing movies of their punch. But the killer issue is reliability. These TVs are a gamble, and the house always wins. Owners complain about backlight failures, HDMI, ports that stop recognizing devices, and random power issues. Warranty claims drag on, and replacements often suffer the same problems. One shopper admitted, "I bought a Vizio 5 Series for cheap on Black Friday. Within 6 months, the screen flickered constantly. Customer support was useless, so I replaced it with another brand. Software makes things even worse. Vizio's SmartCast system is slow, crashes often, and feels like it was designed by someone who's never actually used Netflix. Most owners end up plugging in a Fire Stick just to make it usable, which wipes out any sense of value. Buying a Vizio V Series on Black Friday is like betting on roulette. You might get lucky, but odds are you'll lose." Black Friday trap number 7, Samsung TU690T, the mirage of premium. Samsung is the crown jewel of the TV aisle, shiny, sleek, and stacked taller than most shoppers. But here's the catch, not all Samsungs are created equal. On Black Friday, retailers push stripped-down models like the TU690T, designed specifically for sales events. It looks premium in the store, but peel back the sticker and the truth hits hard. HDR performance is almost non-existent. Peak brightness is so weak that HDR content looks nearly identical to standard video. Forget dazzling highlights. Everything appears flat. Sports reveal another issue. Cloudy panel uniformity. Football fields look like patchwork quilts with darker corners and brighter streaks ruining the experience. Gamers get hit hardest. The TU690T lacks variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, and struggles with input lag. For NextGen consoles, it's practically obsolete. Even the smart features are watered down. Samsung's usual Tizen OS runs smooth on higher-end sets, but here it's sluggish. Apps take forever to load, and the remote feels like it came from a bargain bin. One buyer said, I thought I scored a Samsung deal for $399. At home, HDR looked dead, sports looked blotchy, and gaming lagged like crazy. It wasn't the Samsung experience I paid for. The TU690T is a mirage. It looks like a premium Samsung, but in reality, it's just a warehouse-exclusive knockoff built to trick bargain hunters. Black Friday trap number 8, Philips Roku TVs, branding without substance. Philips still carries weight overseas, especially in Europe, where their Ambilight feature makes movies glow off the wall. But the Philips Roku TVs stacked on pallets at Sam's Club and Walmart for Black Friday, they're not the same thing. These are licensed sets built cheap by third-party manufacturers, and the results are brutal. Brightness is weak. Daytime viewing feels washed out and awfully dead center, and colors vanish into gray. Build quality is equally poor. Plastics creak, bezels bend, and many units ship with dead pixels before you even set them up. Reliability is a nightmare. Flickering backlights, random reboots, and dimming screens after a year or less. One buyer shared, "I picked up a Philips Roku on Black Friday because I trusted the brand." Within months, the apps froze constantly, and the picture dimmed so badly it looked like a 10-year-old TV. Learned the hard way. It wasn't real Philips quality. Philips on Black Friday is branding without backbone. You're paying for nostalgia, not performance. Black Friday trap number 9, Sharp Aqua, the ghost of greatness. There was a time when Sharp Aqua was cutting edge. Owning one meant you had the sharpest screen in the neighborhood, but the Sharp TVs that surfaced during Black Friday, now they're ghosts of that reputation. Picture quality is bland at best. Colors look muted, brightness is weak, and HDR performance is laughable. Dark scenes dissolve into muddy grays, and sports lack the crispness you'd expect from even a mid-tier set. Sound is just as hollow. Dialogue gets lost under background noise, and turning up the volume only makes it harsher. Most buyers end up spending extra on a soundbar, which wipes out any money they thought they saved. Software updates are practically non-existent. Apps disappear or freeze, and the system quickly feels outdated. One disappointed shopper said, "I bought a Sharp Aqua on Black Friday because I remembered how great they used to be. Big mistake. Dull colors, no updates, and it barely lasted 2 years." Sharp Aquos today is nostalgia, sold in a cardboard box. Not a deal, just a faded memory. Black Friday trap number 10, JVC Warehouse Specials, a name in ruins. JVC once built legendary camcorders and audio equipment. Today, the JVC TVS shoved into Black Friday bins are licensed knockoffs built for the lowest possible cost. Colors are flat, blacks are shallow, and brightness is inconsistent across the screen. Fast motion blurs into smears, making gaming or sports unbearable. Reliability is worse. Power supplies fail, pixels die, and backlights burn out within months. One buyer explained, "Picked up a JVC on Black Friday because it was cheap. Within weeks, the apps froze constantly. By month 6, I had dead pixels everywhere. Customer support was a dead end. JVC today is brand cosplay. It looks familiar, but the performance is gone. Rock bottom RCA, the final mistake. If there's one name that defines Black Friday regret, it's RCA. Once an American powerhouse, RCA TVS today are disposable at best. Picture quality is atrocious. Blacks look pale, colors washed out, and resolution soft. Even on so-called 4K models, HDR claims are pure marketing. But the panels are too dim to deliver any meaningful difference. Reliability is the nail in the coffin. RCA TVS are notorious for failing within months. Power supplies fry, backlights burn out, and entire sets simply refuse to power on. And when you try to use the warranty, good luck. One owner put it bluntly, bought an RCA Roku on Black Friday because it was under $200. 6 months later, it wouldn't even turn on. Warranty was worthless. Straight to the curb. RCA is not a deal. It's a countdown timer to disappointment. The final truth about Black Friday TVS. And there it is. The true stores won't tell you about Black Friday. Those towering stacks of cheap TVs aren't bargains, they're bait. Watered-down models built to look premium, but designed to fail fast. Retailers love this game. They push house brands like an and RCA that collapse in months. They flood the aisles with special SKUs from Samsung, LG, Vizio, TCL, Philips, Sharp, and JVC. Models that carry the logo, but none of the quality. They dangle big yellow price tags, hoping you won't notice the missing features until it's too late. Here's the rule you need to remember. If the TV is stacked in a giant Black Friday pile at a price that feels too good to be true, it probably is. Spend a little more upfront, and you'll save yourself years of frustration. Before you run out chasing deals, know this. The cheapest TV is often the most expensive mistake. And if you want to stay ahead of these traps, subscribe to NextGen Picks. We expose the tricks, the scams, and the truths the big stores don't want you to know. Tap that bell icon.